Hello everyone, this is Jack Frost with your daily update for the Ethereum technicals and Solana. On the Ethereum daily chart, price has continued to hover around support resistance, now resistance at 3200. Volume for the short term continues to support downwards movement with strongest volume on the bearish candlesticks, and a slight push on this most recent completed candlestick gives further support for very short term bearish movements. On balance, volume breaking below this support range, giving a weak bearish signal. This is only a weak signal as the support line was not very long held, only had 3 tests and quite a noticeable slope, though it does still give a bearish signal. ATR overall increasing with price moving a little bit flat as price moves sideways for the very short term, giving an overall bullish outlook for volatility as volatility increases along with price declining and moving sideways along with price. And for Ethereum at the daily time frame, ADX is declining, so we use the model of stochastics and support and resistance, which suggests a downward swing may continue, potentially towards support at 2720. Down here, where price may find support where stochastics reaches oversold. On the Solana daily chart, this wave count seeing primary wave 5 within cycle wave 3 to move upwards for the very short term within minor wave 3 of intermediate wave 1. An Elliott channel drawn around the intermediate degrees of primary wave 4 from the start of intermediate wave A to the end of intermediate wave B with a copy on the end of intermediate wave A. The end of minor wave 4 with intermediate wave C truncated by 2.7951 where intermediate wave C fails to move beyond the end of intermediate wave A by that much. This reduces the likelihood of this wave count, though with the strength and upwards movement at this time frame, we overall see bullish movement to continue, particularly with the action around this Elliott channel just here where price has broken above for what is labeled the end of minor wave 1, came back to find support with what is labeled the end of minor wave 2 and is now increasing and moving away for the beginning of minor wave 3. Within primary wave 5, any second wave corrective movement cannot move below its start at 122.5794, meaning if minor wave 2 continues any lower, it cannot move below this point, and eventually when it arrives, intermediate wave 2 can also not move below this point. At this point, we expect minor wave 3 to continue upwards with increasing range and momentum. We can see some steady increases in bullish momentum here, and as minor wave 3 unfolds, it can only subdivide as an impulse. This daily alternate chart seeing primary wave 4 incomplete, currently subdividing as an incomplete barrier triangle, currently within intermediate wave E to move price lower. These most recent 2 bearish candlesticks support this wave count for the very short term, seeing downwards movement to potentially continue. Though as intermediate wave D is labeled complete at this last high here, the BD trendline is overall flat, supporting the rule for a barrier triangle, which is the only non-absolute rule within Elliott Wave that the BD trendline must be overall flat. Though if price does continue higher than this end of intermediate wave D here at 193.6182, that will invalidate this wave count as the BD trendline would have an expanding fit and not a flat fit. Price now continuing lower for intermediate wave E, it cannot move below the end of intermediate wave C at 122.5794 as is the rule for barrier triangles, and as it continues lower it may fall short of this AC trendline just here as is common for barrier triangles. The technical daily chart for Solana seeing price increase after this last low here at support at 127, this last high here with resistance at 190, a bearish engulfing pattern here and price now moving lower for the short to midterm hovering around support resistance at 175. Volume supports upwards movement with strongest volume on the bullish candlesticks, though a push on some bearish candlesticks sees a little bit of strength in downwards movement for the short term. On balance, volume breaking below this support line, giving a weak bearish signal as this support line had quite a noticeable slope, was not long held, and only had 3 tests. It does not give the strongest bearish signal it can, though it does still give a bearish signal, supporting the bearish engulfing pattern as you saw just previously. ADX continues to increase now with a bullish trend that is extreme as the ADX line crosses above both DX lines. This trend does have a ways to go before it may reach very extreme where the ADX line reaches 45 or above, giving this trend room to move. RSI is neutral and declining for the short term, having gotten a little bit close to overbought, though it did not enter overbought, and at this point it does not exhibit any divergence. Money flow overall neutral and what looks mostly flat, though has a slight bullish slope, with a lot more room than RSI before it may enter overbought. Additionally, money flow does not exhibit divergence either. ATR steadily increasing along with price for the short to mid-term, giving a bullish outlook for volatility. As this bullish trend indicated by ADX does have some room to move before RSI and money flow may enter overbought and or exhibit divergence, or this trend may reach very extreme conditions, it expects price to continue upwards overall, supporting the main Elliott Wave count. That's all for me with your daily update for the Ethereum technicals and Solana. If you want the Ethereum Elliott Wave count, you can sign up for that today at pureelliottwave.com using the link in the description below. Thank you, and I hope everyone has a good day.